understand it better, we have to look at Ahimsa in action. So in the Ramayana, we see that Ravana, of course, stole Sita, and Rama went to all the way from Maharashtra to Sri Lanka to get her back. And the war is about to begin. And before the war begins, Rama sends an emissary. He sends Angada to Ravana's court with a message. And he says, there is no need for unnecessary bloodshed. There will be suffering on both sides. Your people and my people will both suffer. I'm here because I want my wife back. Return her honorably and I'll leave. Nobody needs to suffer. So this is an example of Ahimsa, trying to prevent violence. Now, the next option it's not pacifism, because if he had chosen pacifism, he would have said, I don't want to fight, there should not be any bloodshed, I'm going back, and that would have been an adharma. He could not have left his wife over there and gone away just because he didn't want bloodshed. So it's an example of how in Ahimsa sometimes that violence is necessary to protect dharma. We see the same in the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, Krishna and the Pandavas try every means to avoid the war. So when the exile is over, they try Sama. So they say to Duryodhana, keep your end of the deal. You promised to give the kingdom back after we finished our exile. We're back now, so keep your end of the bargain. He didn't agree. So Sama failed. Then they went to the next step, which is Dana. And they said, you keep the whole kingdom, the lion's share of it. Give us 5 villages, just 5 villages, 1 for each brother. That's all we ask for. That was actually a sweetheart deal. But Duryodhana turned that down. He said, no, I'm not even, famously he said, I'm not going to give even the bit of land on which the tip of a needle rests. So then what happens? You have to go to the next stage. And then Krishna uses bheda. So he goes to Karna and he says to Karna, I want to tell you the truth about your birth. You are not a charioteer's son. You are the son of Kunti, and the Pandavas are your brothers. And the reason why he tells him this is he hopes that if Karna decides to sit out and not fight, then Duryodhana would not go to war. Because he was going to war banking on Karna. Because Karna, he felt, was equal or better than Arjuna in his mind. So Krishna tried to avoid the war using bheda. And a lot of people criticize this, saying that it was unethical for him to try and get Karna over to the other side. But we have to realize that here there was a choice between war and peace. If this bheda could have elicited peace, then it was worth it. It would have avoided the war. But unfortunately, that didn't work either. So then there was no choice. There had to be a dharma yuddha. And the Puranas say the same thing. The same message is conveyed in the Puranas, that upholding dharma is the most important duty that we have. That we don't want to be violent, but if all non-violent options fail, then the only option left to protect dharma, if it's violence, then unfortunately we have to do that. We have to go to war. So there is a difference between just and unjust violence. And that's what Ahimsa is about. It's about just violence. So violence as a last resort to uphold dharma is justified. That is called a dharma yuddha. A dharma yuddha is fought to punish wrongdoing, to protect society and prevent greater harm. This is different from a selfish war, which is not a dharma yuddha. A selfish war is fought for greed, for territorial expansion and other such reasons which do not qualify as virtuous. So what we need to see here is that pacifism can actually enable the very violence it seeks to avoid. And conversely, in certain contexts, violence can ensure peace. And I'll give you an example to explain this. If a terrorist is on the rampage, that one person can kill thousands of people. If you take out that terrorist through violent means, you are using violence. It's not non-violent. But that violence is preventing greater violence in society. And if you don't take him out, then you're actually enabling his behavior. You're enabling that violence to continue.